My name is Molly Reynolds. I'm a fellow in the Governance Studies program here at Brookings, and I study Congress. Congress has a pretty terrible track record at getting its budget work done on time. 1996 was the last time that Congress managed to complete all of its spending bills before the government's new fiscal year started on October 1st. And the budget resolution, which is Congress's high-level spending blueprint for taxing and spending for a given year, that has a deadline of April 15th that Congress routinely misses. And this is because, really, partisanship. I like to compare this to a game of whack-a-mole. So members of Congress and the parties come to Washington with all kinds of goals that they want to see enacted. And when you eliminate the opportunity to do them in one place, you whack down the mole in one spot, it still pops back up somewhere else. And the budget process is the place where all that partisanship pops back up to the surface. The budget process is supposed to proceed every year in an orderly, scheduled way. The president is supposed to send Congress a budget in February. Congress is supposed to adopt a budget resolution that sets out a framework for taxing and spending by the middle of April. And then the House and the Senate are supposed to follow that budget blueprint with individual spending bills that are supposed to be finished by October 1st when the federal government's new fiscal year starts. What's really to blame for the state of the budget process currently is politics. And by that, I mean that there is a lot of politics in Congress and increasingly fewer and fewer places to put it. So if members of Congress have a political fight that they want to have, either with other members or between the parties, they need to find a place to put it. And increasingly, the budget process is the only place that can go. So we see a really great example of this in the House of Representatives, where for a long time, a lot of bills would come to the floor of the House open for amendment. So individual rank and file members could have a lot of input into what went into that bill. Now, really the only bills that come to the floor under that kind of open process are spending bills. So members have to take all the fights that they want to have in the whole legislative process and pack them into those appropriations bills. And sometimes this means that it puts the parties in a really tricky spot. In 2015, for example, the Republicans had to pull from the floor a spending bill over a controversy involving the Confederate flag, and that can really derail the process. Another place where we see this happening is with budget reconciliation. So budget reconciliation is a process that allows bills to move through the Senate without the possibility of a filibuster. We saw this used for Republicans' healthcare bill earlier this year. They're currently using it for the tax bill. And in order to unlock the reconciliation process, first you have to adopt the budget resolution, which really raises the stakes for getting that done, which can also increase the leverage of different factions and can make it more difficult in the end to finish that part of the process because the stakes are so high. There are a lot of really great ideas out there for what we might do to fix the budget process, and some of them have been developed by my colleagues here at Brookings. But for me, the biggest question before we even get to specific proposals like, do we do 2-year budgets instead of 1-year budgets? Do we change the rules for considering spending bills in the Senate? That sort of thing. We have to ask, what is the budget process for? What do we want it to accomplish? The current budget process was designed in the early 1970s, in large part to address an imbalance between the executive branch and Congress in terms of the power of the purse. And is that a problem that we have anymore? I'm not sure. And so before we really start to make specific changes to the budget process, I think we need to have a broader conversation about what does it mean for Congress to tax and spend in the current partisan environment.